Are you a new Tanium admin? You're in luck. Today, we're going to show you all the free resources to help you get started. And if you're not new, I bet you'll pick up a couple worthwhile tips. Tanium believes in empowering our users and admins to get the most from their investment. Since we all know that if you give an admin a point solution, they'll eat for a day. But if you teach an admin to use Tanium, they'll eat for a lifetime, right? So those of us who do technology for a living are constantly learning, especially when you're implementing a new solution. And the people learn different ways. And whether you prefer written or audio or video, Tanium has you covered. So, on this show today, we want to take a look at all these different resources that you've got at your disposal. And the first thing I want to show you, number one, with a new solution is you need to learn that solution, right? So, what about training? So starting right off the bat, we're going to go straight to tanium.com. If you haven't been out to the .com for Tanium lately, you can take a look. And here, notice on the Tanium homepage under resources, there's a couple things I want to point out to you. And maybe you think this is obvious, but I want to point out some obvious things to get started here. So number one, Tanium has lots of training options for you. And this training is delivered by people who've been there, done that, right? These are seasoned Tanium folks who are going to give you the skinny of what you need to know to get empowered with not only the platform itself, but even the modules that you're using. And so as you scroll through this page, notice there are a number of fundamental and advanced classes. There are also classes that will prepare you for Tanium certification. I'm wearing my certification shirt here today. So those things are out there as well. So you got these free, there are paid and free options. I think there's still a free just jumpstart class to get you going, but you can work with your Tanium representative, figure out how to you'll get access to those. Also related to that, under resources is certifications. And I know last year when we dropped the certifications, I had an episode on this show with Stephanie Coburn, and she introduced us. You can go check that episode later if you like. But she told us about how the certification programs work. And so we have the Tanium certified operator and the Tanium certified administrator. And I was able to do both of those actually using the remote testing option during COVID. It worked out pretty well. And so I was able to get both of those certs last year. And hopefully, once you've completed your training, you'll be able to be certifiable on Tanium. If you've watched this show for any length of time, but maybe you're new, maybe you haven't watched this show for any length of time, you've heard me talk about docs.tanium.com and kb.tanium.com and community.tanium.com. And we're going to walk through all those today, welcoming you to your Tanium experience. So number one is Docs. If you take a look here on the screen, you see this is our Docs homepage. And I have always bragged about the quality of our documentation. We've just got some fantastic articles out there. And it really, this is your online Tanium reference manual, right? No login required. Just go to docs.tanium.com. So let's say you want to go to core platform here, and you can explore down through the different topics. Maybe let's say we're drilling into an article on comply, for example. Notice, like everything else, again, this is obvious, but there's a search box up here, right? It's going to help you find the keywords you're looking for. But I also want to point out on-prem versus on cloud. If you're using Tanium Cloud versus on-prem, sometimes there are subtle differences in the documentation. So you might just be aware of that little flip up there at the top at docs.tanium.com. All right. So that's going to go on your short list of links. After that is kb.tanium.com. And I'll be the first to admit this site doesn't look as polished, right? But that's okay. What you're going for here is release notes. So sometimes if you're an on-prem customer and you have to file a change control to say, hey, we're upgrading from version X to version Y, and here are the changes. We've done our testing and all that. And maybe they require some type of documentation. So you can go to kb.tanium.com. And let's say, let's go down here to, let's just pick on Discover for a second. And here you can see for every version of on-prem Discover, here are the release notes. I can click into there. I can see the updates of what has changed in that release of the module, the platform. There's even Tanium Cloud over here, all kinds of the cloud release notes, lots of good items there for you to reference in kb.tanium.com. Now, once we've gotten through those, that brings us over to community, but I'm not going to demo community to you because I want to bring on a special guest. I would like you to meet the person responsible for the Go-Tanium Tech Talk show that you're watching right now. This guy helped us launch the show, and he even did some of the early video editing on some of those early episodes, early days. Got started over a year now. So please help me welcome Jasper Liao to the show. Welcome, Jasper.
Thanks, Ashley. It's great to be on the show.
Obviously, we know each other pretty well, but you are one of the silent heroes here at Tanium. You just enable so many things, and you make heroes out of so many people who are publishing content in our community. How long have you been here?
So I've been at Tanium for just about 7 years. So I'm an old timer. Done a lot of things at Tanium so far, but one of the things I'm focusing right now is on community in my role in customer marketing.
I tell you, folks, if you've done anything in the community space, you can thank Jasper and the team that's behind him that makes that possible. And so, Jasper, tell us a little bit about where did Tanium Community come from, and what's in store for us, waiting on us when we get to the community site.
We started the community back in 2017 at Converge. And, it started as sort of like a place where, our users can get together kind of like they do at Converge, and interact with each other and get guidance from Tanium. And we really try to sort of take that mission going forward on an everyday basis in the community. So, and when I talk about, folks interacting in community, it's, our internal people, our subject matter experts, our partners, our users, absolutely, among our customer base. And so, what we really want is an exchange of ideas among our customers and partners and those internal folks, as well as making sure our customers are getting value as quickly as possible. So that's like the mission of community and what we're trying to do.
Fantastic. So why don't we just dive in and take a look?
So before we jump in, I'd like to introduce Benjamin Carter. He's a technical account manager at Tanium, and one of the core internal members of community. You guys might recognize him as answering a bunch of questions that come in from our customers in record time. So thanks so much, Benjamin.
Hi, Ashley, Jasper. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. How long have you been here?
I've been here just shy of about 3 years, and I've loved it ever since I've come on board, partnering with a bunch of TAMs to find interesting solutions to interesting problems on the front lines.
Like Jasper said, you'll see his name all over community, getting answers to your questions. And typical TAM fashion, no one person knows everything. So he's going to go find the people to get you those answers. So he's your advocate there in the community, helping you get that response from Tanium.
So what we like to do first is just kind of walk through what the registration process is like. Like when you come to community, how do you become a member? Yeah, so if you're a new user in community, go to the Getting Started menu up top.
All right.
Down to Join Community.
Okay, let's go ahead and create our user. And we'll go with Go-Tanium. And we'll call it the Go-Tanium show.
So it's as easy as that. So next, what I want to do is I like to travel a lot, and I appreciate those travel books that tell you like the top 5 things to do in a new city. So kind of like that, what I'd like to do is tour the top things that a new community user should check out when they first come to the community site. So let's first go ahead and log in with our generated username and password.
Sure thing. Let me get us logged in here.
Once we're logged in here in community, I'd like to show you the first thing, which is discussion forums. So this is a place where a member can ask a question, start a conversation, and get answers back either from peers or from Tanium experts.
All right, what would you like to ask?
What do you think, Ashley? Where can I find all the Go-Tanium show content?
That sounds like a great question.
Excellent.
Do you want to add any topics to this?
Sure, let's add Go-Tanium as a topic. Oh, it's already there actually, but video. Let's add video as a topic.
Good call. Okay.
So with this discussion up, members can comment, can respond, and if it's a technical question or something like that that needs a Tanium SME answer, that's the place to do it. Let's go back to the homepage, and I'll show you the next thing I'd like to point out, which is the Emerging Issues blog. So the Emerging Issues blog is a place where we talk about how Tanium can help find and fix vulnerabilities, much like Log4j, or going back a little farther, Kaseya or SolarWinds. So if you scroll down a little bit, you can see a listing of all of the emerging issues that we've covered and the ways that Tanium can help.
Yeah, let's go ahead and drill into one of those, because this is really the goodness of the Tanium community, because here's you're going to get step by step how to use Tanium to address these things. So when it's 3 a.m. and you get that wake up call, hey, we've got this patching emergency. We need to know, is this in our environment? Go ahead and click into one of those there, Benjamin. Let's take a look.
I'm going to go with Log4Shell because I know it came out a few months ago, but it's still causing a lot of people a lot of pain. It's enormously complex.
Yep. And so even as a Tanium person, this is where I would go to get the steps, right? This is the source.
Yeah, these articles are laid out, typically have a video demo in terms of how to use Tanium to find and fix these vulnerabilities. And then, sort of going through the different, Tanium products, whether it's the core platform or whether it's something like Comply or Deploy, like how to find and fix that issue. So really getting into the nitty-gritty of how to do it. So emerging issues, actually, those types of articles are one type of a larger group of content that we have, which are knowledge articles. So if we click on best practices, the button here in the homepage, we can see other valuable things for Tanium users to know. Things like new product releases. So like when the product team releases, let's say, a new version of Comply, these articles will tell you, what are the new features, why are they important, how to apply them, as well as articles called best practices. So, these are our Tanium experts talking about what's the best way to apply, Tanium products to reach an outcome that's valuable for our customers. So this is an example of, a new feature highlight article talking about the API gateway, which is a new feature we have for folks, piping in Tanium data to their other systems. So really walkthroughs on how to get the most value out of those things. So next, I'd like to talk about Go-Tanium, and actually, because we have the expert of Go-Tanium, Ashley, I'd like to have you go ahead and walk through what kind of resources we have in community relating to Go-Tanium.
Thanks, Jasper. And thanks for helping us get this video series started, the podcast, all this. So at the top center up there, you're going to see Go-Tanium series. Go ahead and click in there, Benjamin. And we set up this page as an easy way for you to find all the shows. And there's a bit.ly link for this called bit.ly Go-Tanium show. That's in the show notes below on every one of these episodes. So it'll help you find more of these episodes on YouTube, but also all of our other shows. So you may or may not be aware, we have a podcast with Doug Thompson that's released about every other Tuesday. And it talks to the business challenges that Tanium solves. You've got this Tech Talk show here, which is for admins like you to help you know what's the latest news in the world of Tanium. What are the features that we've just gotten released? Hey, we already own this. They just gave us a new feature. How do I use it? Right? That's what this show is about. And then Endpoint Explorers with Cam and Moshe. We actually did a show with Doug and Cam and Moshe a while back in the history of this show. If you scroll back through the playlist on YouTube and you can find it. But what those guys do is they actually do a Twitch live stream every other Tuesday at 2 o'clock Eastern. And so you can actually watch them live, interact with them. It's the only live show that we have here. So go check out those guys. And then also, if we keep scrolling down, those are the 3 Go-Tanium shows. But beyond that, we have other shows as well. Let's keep going to the bottom of the page here. So we've got To the Point with Maggie Miller, which is more for business leaders. What are the current business events and how does Tanium respond to those? And then Architect Tomorrow with Oliver, which is all about, as it's more of an industry. It's not a Tanium specific podcast. We sponsor it, but he talks about issues for what it's like to be an architect in the IT industry and the challenges they solve there. So more great content. Now, if you scroll up just a little bit here, right between these two, you'll see this Go-Tanium group. And also on the top menu as well, under groups, you'll see Go-Tanium listed there. So if we go click into there, and I'm just going to be straight up honest with everybody watching. So this link has been in the show notes every episode, but we've honestly just not gotten a lot of engagement here. But now that you know how the community works, you can click that join button up there. You can get notifications. And I would recommend that if you want to interact with me or any of the guests on the show, this is a fantastic way to do that. So you can always email us at go@tanium.com, or you can interact with us here in this forum here in the community spot. So we've carved this out just for the show to interact with everybody. So again, that's our Go-Tanium experience under the community banner there. And again, hats off to Jasper for helping us get all this started. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Ashley. And it's been fantastic to watch the show grow and now have so many offshoots. So that's been fantastic. The next thing I'd like to show was Product Central. So this is basically a centralized place to get all the information, for example, on a particular Tanium product. So let's go into Enforce Central. So this is Tanium Enforce Central, and it's a centralized place to get all the community information about Tanium Enforce. And I think this is going to be particularly useful for customers using a module for the first time, using Enforce for the first time. So let's scroll down the page a little bit. First it sort of talks about what Enforce is on sort of a high level, and then gets into the use cases, right? How are our customers actually applying Enforce? Down a little farther, there's a demo. And then, for a new user, like what are the resources that are going to help them get up and running as quickly as possible? And at the very bottom of the page, you'll have, everything we have in community that specifically having to do with Enforce. And then you can actually follow this this topic so that when there's new stuff that comes out about Enforce, you'll get an email about that new content. So next, I'd like to talk about another great feature of community, which is it's a place where you can get support. So for that, actually, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Benjamin, who will show you what resources are available for support.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jasper. This is my bread and butter every day. So under support, we've got our most convenient options here. We can get the documentation so we can get answers right away. We can go straight to troubleshooting guides so that we can start looking at whatever challenge we might be facing. We have our support handbook, which I'll show you here in a moment, and a few more links. So I'm going to pop over to our support handbook. And this is an article that we recently published so that we could give everybody a clearer view of how exactly to get support, what that path looks like. And that's going to be everything from what our objectives are to what the TAM support objectives are, who's going to be helping you with what, and how to get us the ammunition that we need in order to help you as fast as possible. So go ahead, give that a read. It's right here on the homepage under support handbook. Moving on, we've got our support portal. So I'm going to click into that. In our support portal, we can see a little bit more. We can see topic areas like the server, the client, and the different modules or products, our vulnerability disclosures, some additional helpful links, and the support cases that are attached to this user or account, depending on what your situation is in your organization. Moving on back to support here, there are some additional options, but I believe we're all wrapped up with support. So I'll turn it back over to you, Ashley and Jasper.
Thanks, Benjamin. And now I noticed in your tab bar at the top, it says your 30 steps in 30 days. What is that and how do I get to it?
It tells you, here's the things that you can start to look at from a topic level, just to keep yourself focused as you're moving through the process of adopting this new platform that has a lot of new features. Here's what to keep on your mind. And that way you've got just that little bit less that you need to carry in your mind with all those things that you need to do onboarding a new product. So go ahead, take a look at this, see what your week 1, 2, 3, and 4 look like. And we've laid out these steps just so you can take a quick look at it and make sure that you're on track.
Yep. And you even have videos there welcome you to Tanium from some of our executives in the organization. So let's flip back to the homepage and community for a second. I want to show you how to get to that. So under the getting started right up there on the left, just under that, you'll see new user orientation guide. And that takes you to that 30 steps in 30 days to give you, you think about it's a brand new product. There's so many things, my head's spinning. Where do I start? Start with a 30-day guide, right? So as we've given you all these resources to look at today, the one place really to get started is here under community with that new user orientation guide. It's going to walk you through step by step. And I recognize that it's overwhelming to start implementing a new product, getting used to learning it and understanding all of its capabilities. So, Jasper gave you the product pages. We've got these Go-Tanium shows, lots of options here to get you oriented as a new user to Tanium. So as we wrap up today, Jasper, any final thoughts?
Just that we welcome you to come to community. We look forward to having you participate in discussions and getting the value that you need.
And Benjamin, any final thoughts for you?
Come and ask us some questions so we can help you out. We enjoy participation. We like helping everybody, help everyone else get better too.
Thank you guys, Benjamin, Jasper, for giving us the tour of the Tanium community page today and all these resources, the 30-day guide, the support handbook, all these resources available to help you be successful. So from all of us here at Tanium, welcome to Tanium. And so we've got all these links and resources in the show notes below. While you're looking at those, go ahead and hit like and subscribe down there. And now you're well on your way to learning and growing in the Tanium platform. Until next time, go Tanium.
Sort of walking through the different features within Enforce. And then, what are these, a bunch of great resources that a new user can use in order to get the most value out of Enforce. So
we can pause there. That's fine.
So there's a diaper pickup, it usually happens later this afternoon, but for some reason it came early today. So sorry about that.
That's all right. Yeah, gotta love working from home.
Yeah.
That'll make the outtakes reel at the end.
You can just put coughing on rapid fire. Cough, 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 cough.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's actually usually not that barky of a dog, but we live in a cul-de-sac. And so like whenever there's a car or delivery vehicle or something that comes by, he barks his head off.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll quit anytime soon?
Yeah, soon. Yeah, but the car's going away now. Do you want me yelling at my dog in the outtakes?
That's all right.
Yes.